some of us feel like, we wake up and it's like, let's just waste my life away. You don't think about it, right? I don't believe that. I believe that God created us to do more. We're meant for more. And I used to didn't think this way. Well, I used to believe that I'll be stuck in this job that I always did. I was a server. I was a bartender, so I did that for a very long time to get by through college, and just that's what I did, restaurant business. Well, I was working in a restaurant. I didn't even do the restaurant business. I'm sure I can do the restaurant business now, but back then I was working in a restaurant. That's how I survived. And I think about, like, I will probably be working in this job for the rest of my life because I didn't see any other opportunity or any other way out. And eventually, get a real job and then retired and then maybe enjoy the remaining part of my life when I'm like 65, right? That's kind of like the mentality that America has. Is like, you get a job, you work that job, and then you retired and you spend the remaining part of that, I don't know, the last 20 years or so, enjoying the remaining part of that life. Uh, that was the plan until I realized how poor I was, and how I was not able to help anyone. So I love my parents a lot, and I wanted to help them out growing up, but I didn't know how. Who here have parents that you love? I mean, some of you, it's okay if you guys didn't grow up with good parents, but it's all right, right? There's somebody that you love that you want to help. Raise your hand if you had somebody that you love that you want to help. And there was a night that I remember my mom calling me. I was a junior in college at the time. I had failed most of my classes at LSU in Louisiana. I moved up to a smaller school because I was like, man, the partying, the drinking, and the freedom was just too much for me to handle. And so it was late that night. I was working at the restaurant. I didn't get home till like maybe 11 or 12 o'clock at night. My mom called me and she sounds sad, nervous, right? And she would sound like she was about to cry. She was a big crier. My mom is that type of person that, very sensitive to situation. And when she's overwhelmed with stress, she cries a little bit easily, and she'll actually talk. You can hear her voice stumbling. Um, and when you see your parents cry, it makes you want to cry too. And you know what? It's okay to cry. Men out there, it's okay to cry. If you guys don't cry often, it's all right to feel sad. It's okay to cry. I just want to give you guys a thumbs up because I cry all the time too. I used to didn't. I used to hold it in, but I now, I cry in front of my wife and I tear up at church. I when I'm talking about something that's um brings back memories, and I cry about it. It's okay. It's courageous actually to express your emotion without fear of being judged. So just remember that. So that night, she started to share that she's going into surgery. And I was like, whoa, what? She never told me anything. So she doesn't talk very often. She doesn't share things very often. She's a very closed off woman. She grew up from in Vietnam, so she didn't talk much about her past, how she went through the Vietnam War and everything. And so I know nothing of the Vietnam War. I know little bits here and there, but they don't talk about it. So my mom really kept to herself. And so she told me she was dealing with like this weird stomach pain for the longest, I don't know, a year or two. And then she finally went to the doctor, and the doctor said, "Hey, you got an ulcer in your stomach. It's real bad. It could develop to other things, and they don't know why, but they probably just assumed that it was from stress, poor eating habits, overwork, and maybe some other things, right?" And it gotten so bad that she had to get a piece of her intestine cut off. Like, that's never fun, right? Going into the knife. That was her first surgery ever. She never had any surgery before in her life. So she was scared. She was fearful. She reached out to me just to let me know how much she loved me on that night. And that if something goes wrong, if she doesn't make it out, that it's okay. I love you, Hey, take care of your siblings. So after we hung up, I felt kind of sad, kind of scared. In that moment, I wanted to kind of cry, cried in silence, you know, couldn't sleep for a few nights because of that surgery. And it made me reflect on where I was in my life, right? I was probably like my my early 20s, 21, 22. I felt kind of hopeless because I wasn't able to support her in any way. I was in another school because I didn't do well in the school that I was at that was close to home. And I wasn't able to provide any support to her. And I look at the life that I was currently living, and it started to make me angry, right? Are you angry right now in your life? Are you frustrated about something? Like, raise your hand if you are. Like, if you're not frustrated, you should be, right? There's something in our life that we're frustrated about, all of us. Um, and I felt like I had to do more. So I started to push myself to do more with the life that I have, and I had to go do something. So I had to stop being a child, honestly. A lot of us are still stuck in this childlike mindset, right? You think you're mature, but you still have these childish habits. You don't want to, you're an adult, you want to be an adult, but there's something inside of you that still keeps you thinking in very childlike mindset, right? So I wanted to support my family. I was meant to do more, and I started believing, my sibling was counting on me, my family was counting on me, everyone around me was counting on me because, I was kind of like the oldest son, so there was a lot of responsibility. Anyone who's an oldest son here? Anyone who's the oldest son? Who's the oldest son? Okay, there you go. There's a few of you. Hey, it's okay to be not the oldest either. It's all right. The middle sucks too, right? You're not the oldest. You're not the last. The middle sucks too. But remember, the middle is the bridge between the top and the bottom. All right. So there's some for you guys. Um, and I just knew I had to do more. So why am I sharing this with you? Because we're all meant to do more, and you haven't realized that yet. Maybe nobody told you that you were meant for more, right? Nobody ever believed that you were meant for more, right? Nobody ever said that, hey, you're meant to do more than just sit in this job that you're in right now. So you never thought you could do more, right? So just remember, like, we're not meant to sit around and to rot and die. We're not meant to retire and die. We're not meant to work in a cubicle for 8 hours a day and live out the rest of our life without meaning or purpose. So I'm here to tell you that you're meant for more. So that's kind of where we are today. It's like, I want to remind you guys that God created you to grow and multiply, grow in your health, grow in your relationship, grow in your marriage, grow at your job, grow in your skills, grow in your talents, multiply your money, multiply your happiness, multiply your relationship, multiply your wealth. So who here doesn't want to grow and multiply? Raise your hand. Who here doesn't want to grow? Don't raise your hand. I was just asking, but don't raise your hand. Right? Because I know I want to grow. So what does this mean? Let me share a few tips on how to know if you're meant for more, right? Because we don't know what it means to be meant for more. So let's bring back to my point at the beginning, right? You have to believe that you're meant for more at the beginning, right? That's where it starts. If you don't believe that you're meant for more, then you're meant for nothing. It all starts with your belief and your mindset. Now, the principle of life still applies. We have basic principles of life that we live by because, for example, you put a seed in the ground and you water it if it's in the right soil, it gets enough water and sunlight, it will grow. That's the basic principle of life. So if you do the work, you put in the hard work, the luck's gonna come. For me, I feel very lucky because, the business I started on Amazon, online with the website, selling on eBay, Amazon, and all the other platforms, when we started, I didn't think we were going to make money, honestly, but we stuck at it every day. And that's what's required, the hard work. And you know what? We got lucky because we kept working. I mean, it didn't work out for the first 3 years. First 3 years, I didn't make any money. Like, who here likes working with just sweat and equity, right? Your sweat equity. You didn't do it. You put all the work in and you don't see any payoff. But when you do that kind of work consistently every single day, you show up every single day. So my point is, you do the work, you show up, the luck will come. That's just the basic principle of success. You do the hard things now, your life will be easier at the end, right? And you seek knowledge, you continue to seek knowledge, you continue to seek wisdom, you will grow. And if you serve others, your life will be better, right? Who here serve others and your life really suck, right? Nobody, right? Raise your hand if you serve others and your life just got worse. Honestly, that's the truth, right? For me, my reasoning that kept me going for Chloe's like, yeah, I raised my for me, when I was helping my partner grow the business, I had vendor partners, supplier partners, I had employees, my team members. It's a mindset thing, right? I serve them every day. I met billionaires who told me advice because I pay money to go to because I seek knowledge. I'm always seeking knowledge. I'm gonna be honest, I'm not the smartest person here. I don't want to be the smartest person because you can never be the smartest person in the room. Please do not be the smartest person in the room. You need to get some new friends and you're in the wrong room. You don't want to be the smartest. Some of you guys here probably have a skill that I don't have, right? You guys are probably smarter in other areas versus mine. But the difference is that I'm continuing to seek that knowledge. And that's what helped me grow. And so when I seek knowledge, I grow. And then when I'm seeking to serve others, how can I bring more value to my team members? How can I bring more values to my teammate? How do I bring my value to my suppliers? They respond, they respond to that. They respond to that kind of relationship. They work harder, right? And I have more inspiration to keep working harder for them too as well. So it's a weird like synergistic process when your focus is not to just for yourself. Your focus is to serve others, to serve your customer because we're in the business to serve the customer, right? We're solving their problems. That's the business that we in. In any business that you see all around you, you're there to serve the customers, you serve your client, you serve your team. To be a boss, you're actually a servant. That's the truth. Half the time, I'm like, hey, what do you need? How can I help you? Like, do you have a problem? How can I help you overcome that problem? Because if I can bring greatness out of somebody, they will help me achieve my goals, right? That's how you build a successful team. You you serve them, you help them bring their greatness out, and then they help you in return to make more money. And that's the truth of it. And so for me, my focus is always to serve other, and my life will be better. And that process has always worked out for me. So here are the traits of someone who is meant for more. Um, you have a beginner mindset. Like if you, so a beginner mindset is like, okay, I don't know. Let's just say, I don't know this information. Let's find out more information. That's really it. That's the beginner mindset. And someone who has a beginner mindset will seek to know more and get better at it versus someone say, hey, I know everything. I don't need you. I know everything. Becomes very narrow minded, right? You got to have this mindset, the beginner mindset, like a child. A child's always asking question. A child's always seeking to learn more, to get better at something. Always asking the right question. Well, honestly, it's not even about asking the right question. Just ask question. Get used to asking question. I was I was listening to this YouTube video about Warren Buffett, and one of the things that Warren Buffett has is that he's a person that continue to ask questions. You sit down with him, he will ask you questions, lots and lots of questions, because he wants to understand the way you think. So have a beginner mindset, right? Number two, embrace failure. Who here is afraid of failing? Raise your hand if you're afraid of failing. Who here? Raise your hand if you're afraid of failing. Yes, don't lie. Everybody's here is afraid of failing, right? If you guys don't raise your hand, you're lying, right? We're all here because we don't want to fail, but you have to embrace the process of failure, right? Because at the top, when you win, you don't really learn much. It's just a great feeling, right? I remember when I won, I thought I won, I guess. I mean, everybody think that it was like a winning process, like, yeah, I made a bunch of money. But during the process to building the business, to overcoming all the moments where we were struggling, we weren't making any money, to the time when it was like, how do you hire an employee? Like, what do we do? Like just throw, go on Google and just like, hey, throw a listing up on Craigslist and hopefully you get a good hit, right? Um, so embracing the failure, we tried many times, we hired many different people. A lot of people just, there was times when there were people that screwed up really bad. There were times that people, we get lucky and we get somebody good. And so it was a learning experience. And you know what? The process of failure, there were times where we made mistakes. Those were the time that we learned the most. So I had a restaurant business. Some of you guys been with me long enough, and I shared this story in the past. So I opened up a restaurant business, a fried chicken place, right? So I was running this online business. I was having a good time working on from my computer, and then I had this magical idea. I was like, I need to make more money. So I went and I opened up a restaurant. Terrible idea. But at the time, I didn't think it was that terrible. I was like, hey, why not? Right? Put a manager in place. It runs itself. And you know what? I learned the hard way. I should have, I should have went and asked someone for advice. But at that time, I was kind of full of myself, right? I was like, hey, I'm doing good. I got money in the bank, no responsibilities. I had no wife, no kids. I did whatever I want. And I had a lot of freedom. So I was like, okay, I was full of myself. I was kind of like prideful, had a lot of ego. And so I went to this restaurant business, this Wingstop franchise. They sold me real hard. They were like, yeah, we're doing amazing, 30% return a year. And you know what happened? Like, it sucked. I ended up working pretty much 10 to 12 hours a day. It was out of state, so I flew in, spent like 3 years of my life grinding away, and lost money every single week because I had bad employees, bad management. I left, the business would go down. There was a moment where I knew I had it when I found out that one of the cashier threw an urn at a customer, tea urn. The things are big, okay? It was a big tea urn. I'm like, what happened? Right? I was thinking to myself, like, what happened? The manager was explaining to me, yeah, like this girl got into an argument. Maybe the worker was sleeping with one of her boyfriends or something. And I'm like, what the heck? So long story short, that kind of altercation that happened. And I'm like, okay, this is not working out the way I thought it was. So I wasted 3 years of my life, hundreds of thousands of dollars. We're not talking about, 10, 20,000 here. I've lost, so that I sold that business for $15,000. It cost me $500,000 to build. I lost several $100,000 every year from theft, from bad employees, and just bad customer service because the people I hired just were bad, just in that area. And I smelled like fried chicken every time I worked there, right? My hair was smelling like oil. I was frying chicken every day. It was not a great thing. And it taught me a big lesson, right? Every business, no matter what business you go in, you gotta have a driver. Somebody gotta be who cares more about the business as if it was their own child. You can't just hand off a business to somebody else, right? And I learned that hiring the right people is important. I learned that don't chase money, right? Don't chase money because you can chase money all day, and at the end, it's like, what for? I lost time with my family. I lost time for myself. I gained weight because I ate fried chicken every day, right? My health was going bad. Like I worked out every day, but now I don't do it anymore. I was just eating a lot of fried chicken. It was not great. So, from that failure, I didn't let it stop me. I was like, okay, let's go back to the online business because this is what I like. I was still doing the online business, but now I have free time because I had a team that ran it. And I was just like, let's focus back on what's working. So this lesson in failures, just remember there will be moments of failure in your life. It's about how fast you get back up. It's about what you learn and how can you pivot quickly. So embrace failure, right? So the next one is you got to have a go-getter attitude. So you take action. If you're meant for more, you're not sitting around. You guys are meant for more. Why? Because you guys are here in this community. You took action on something. So don't let that action go to waste. Monday Mindset is a reminder for you to take action every week. You got Monday till Friday to do something. Well, actually, you have Monday to Sunday to do something, right? It's not about spending 5 hours at something. Don't ever think about it like, hey, I got to spend 5 hours on this. No, do it for 5 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes. Break it down into actionable effort, right? If you focus so much, so the future is Sunday. The Sunday is the future. So don't think about that. Think about the 24 hours today that you have. So I live based on 24 hours. I have long-term vision for my life, but I live based on the 24 hours because I break down my goals to what do I have to do this month, this week, this day. So what I mean by that, a great example is, let's say it's the end of the third quarter or first quarter already. Everybody's trying to lose weight. I'm not sure if some of you guys had weight loss goals for New Year's, but a lot of people had New Year resolution of losing weight. That's typical. And some people drop off by February, right? They show up to a gym for a month and then they're like, it's too hard. I don't want to do it anymore. That's not what you want to do. You want to focus on what do I have to do today? So for me, if I wanted to lose weight, I think about what I have to do every single day to lose that weight. 5 pound. So 1 pound every week. Okay. I have to work out and maintain a diet. So just focus on the one day of what is required. The same thing as for business. What is the one day that's required action, right? If it's product research, you spend 5 to 10 minutes on it. Don't try to think like I got to do this for the entire week. Don't do it for the entire week. Don't focus on the entire week because the only time you have is the 24 hours anyway. Take advantage of it. So another tool that we use is Notion. We use Notion. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with a Notion board. Download Notion. It's a second brain. We track everything in there. We put notes, our activities. So there's tons of templates for you to track your daily habits, things like that. So Notion is a great tool. So I highly recommend downloading Notion. It's like a workspace that handles everything. And so track your activities in there. So I track my day like very intentionally. Like if you're not tracking your day, guess what happened? Sometime you're on your phone scrolling. Next thing you know, 30 minutes later, you just wasted 30 minutes. You're like, what happened to my day? You sit on Netflix, you're watching. Next thing you know, 30 minutes, an hour later, you're like, I just wasted my time on Netflix. It's okay. What I'm saying it's okay is because right now you haven't been tracking, but if you start tracking your day, hour by hour, you know exactly where your time waster is. You know you should be at your gym. So I love pickleball. I play pickleball a lot, but I stopped playing because I realized I was spending like 4 hours a day at the pickleball court and my wife was getting pissed at me. So, I neglected my kids, I neglected my wife at the same time. So I started cutting back. I'm like, okay, an hour a day is good enough. I'm not becoming pro, right? I'm not trying to be like on ESPN, playing pickleball, maybe getting paid like, I don't know, $100,000 sponsorship for that. It's not that kind of vision for my life right now. But track your day. You got to track your day so that you can take action on areas where you have the time to do it. Take action, all right? Every single day, break down what the 24 hours you can utilize, okay? Another thing. So the next one is you're not afraid to dream big. It's okay to dream big. I used to have a dream so when I was 22, 21, 22, so actually I dreamt that I wanted to be a millionaire way longer than that when I was like 18, 17, 18 is when I started reading like books like Tony Robbins. But you read books, but you don't take action on it, right? Anyone here had that experience where you read a bunch of books and then you're like, it's okay, right? Raise your hand if you read books and you don't do anything. That was me. So I knew that I had to do more, but I didn't do anything with it, right? We do that. I get that. It's okay, right? But I had big dreams though. What it told me that, hey, it's okay for you to dream big. So don't be afraid to dream big, right? Whatever that dream is, write it down because there's no point in sitting on small dreams anyway, right? Small dream, big dreams, they're all the same. Right? I'd rather just dream big than dream small. So my dream at the time when I was like 18, 17, 18, I was like a millionaire. I wanted to own my own business and I wanted to be a millionaire. And you know what? It happened. By 22, 23, I was starting up this random business and we're not making any money, but it was a business, right? I had set up the company and everything. And I was just working in it, Googling things and just trying to solve problem every time I get a chance because I was going to school and working at the same time. And so dreaming big does have result. It does create result because you're envisioning your future and it will happen. So you just got to keep sticking to that dream. All right. Lastly, you got to seek growth and change. If you guys are seeking growth and change, I know you guys are meant for more. You guys are here in this community because you want to grow and you want to change. Who here doesn't want to grow and change? Honestly, if you're not growing, you're dying. Every tree grows, right? Tree will grow and continuously grow no matter the harsh condition, the weather, the droughts, through every single season, the tree will grow. It doesn't mean it grows fast during the drought, but it will continue to grow, right? So if you're not growing, if you're not seeking growth and you're not seeking change, you will essentially rot and die. So that's why we're here. We're here to grow. We're here to change so that we can build, we can multiply our life. We can, grow in areas that we need to grow in, right? You guys are strong in certain areas, of course, right? Everybody has a strong area, and there's some areas that we're not strong at. It's okay. We can grow in those. And I know some of you have these traits. You seek change, you want to grow, you have dreams, you want to serve others. You have that mindset of seeking knowledge. And of course, you embrace failures. Some of you might not have all these traits. It's okay. You can adopt them, right? You can choose one and be like, I'm going to work on this area, right? I'm not used to serving others. I don't like serving others. It's okay. Start. Think about how can you serve other people around you. So having that mindset, how can I serve my parents? How can I serve my kids better? How can I serve my husband better? How can I serve my wife better? How can I serve my team better? What do they need help with, right? So just remember, you're God's creation and not some piece of meat that runs around aimlessly. Right? We're not like a cow that just wandering around in a pasture. Okay, so just don't think that you're just this hunk of animal and just nothing. You're not controlling where you're going. You have control. Your body, your mind controls where the body goes. So all the action you take is based on what you believe in your mind. You have to believe that you have these traits. And of course, your moment and your time will come. The luck will come when you take the action needed, right? By choosing to be a part of this community, you're already choosing to do something kind of uncomfortable, right? So you guys already have that trait to succeed. Remember, many of you were invited, only a few were chosen. And honestly, at the end of the day, some of you chose this too as well, right? You chose to lean into discomfort, right? Who here chose to be in discomfort? Because nobody put a gun to your head. Raise your hand. Nobody put a gun to your head and told you to join this program, right? No, right? If somebody did, let us know who this is, because that's the wrong sales process. That's not something that we recommend. Don't do that. But you guys chose to be here. You chose to, you chose to be a part of a community that challenged you, not just in finance, your body, your mind, right? So you chose to be here. You chose to seek discomfort. And that's the only way for you to grow. You have to be uncomfortable. If you feel uncomfortable every single day, you're not going to grow. You have to lean into the right heart. So in the past, I talked about choosing the right heart, and I'll bring that up again. There's a hard life. Every life is going to be hard. My life is hard still, right? I have a friend who runs a business. They live in a nice house. They drive a nice car. Their life is hard. I have a buddy that has a Ferrari. He's a painter. His life is hard. But you know what? He gets to drive a Lamborghini or a Ferrari, right? It's fun. It's great. It's still hard because he's still grinding away with all his 15 paint trucks. He has to deal with a bunch of his employees, and they make him stress out, right? But he chose that hard because what? Now he can help his family. Like, he was able to help his father. So the guy, I'll share a quick story, a very powerful story. His name is Christian. His father left him when he was like 3 years old, left the mother. So he was pretty much grew up without a dad. Mom went from husband to husband. So, he got beat up by one of the stepdad. Well, I guess you'd call it a step boyfriend, not really a stepdad, because she had a bunch of boyfriends. So he was sharing that story with me. And he grew up, he started going to this painting business, working like 18 hours a week, overnight sometime, grinding out and not knowing if he's going to survive. And then when he started making money in his 20s, he went to visit, some old friends. So his family lived in California. A very powerful story. Long story short, he ended up finding his dad again. This man was living in a shack with his now wife, two little girls, in a shack behind somebody's house. You guys know California, there's not a lot of cheap housing, and that's what they could afford, right? He saw that, and what he could have said was, you know what? You left me, so I'm not going to help you. But instead, he thought about it. And he's like, hey, come move to Texas with me and I'll help you. I'll help you move. Just sort everything in order. I'll fly you out here. I'll show you around. If you like it, I'll help you move here. And you know what? He moved them here. His two sisters grew up. Stepsister grew up. They're going to college as Texas A&M, graduated. They're doing something with their life. The dad stopped. So he had a habit of drinking. So his dad, just was an alcoholic. Stopped drinking. Really, changed his life. And every time they see him, they felt really blessed. And so he chose the hard, right? Because there's a person who chose a hard where it's like, okay, I'm just going to keep drinking. I'm going to party. I'm going to do whatever I want. It's going to be hard, yes. But he chose to work hard, chose to help others. He chose to grow his business, focus on his business every day, focus on creating a better life for himself and his family. And he was able to help other people because he has a business that was able to produce and provide. So choosing the right hard is what's important. Life is hard, so accept that. If you guys are here, I'm reminding you, even the people who are new, I mean, this is a reminder for the people who are been here for a long time. Life is going to be hard. Accept that. It's never going to get any easier. It just means you're getting stronger, all right? The stronger you get, the easier it is to live life. So let's get back to my story about my mom. She was fine after the surgery. Honestly, she went back to work like 2-3 weeks on the recovery. I mean, you have your stomach cut out, your intestine cut out, and then she was like, I got to go back to work. And I'm like, okay. But she did it anyway. She plowed through the pain. So she's that type of person, right? And so she's a big, like, I look up to her sometime and I'm just reflecting like, man, this is a strong woman that she's able to overcome, pain and still go back to work because she just like, I have to do this for my family. That's how strong she is. So she taught me the power of believing in God, having the strength through God, and then having the will to push through no matter the situation and circumstances, right? You got to keep moving forward no matter what attitude or what situation, what circumstance you're in. You gotta have that I gotta move forward attitude all the time, right? This is the attitude of a person who is meant for more. You got to do it no matter what. Just if you don't believe that right now, it's okay. But you can choose to start believing that because we have the free will to believe that. Right. So all of you here chose to experience something uncomfortable. We will challenge you. We will push you to do something that you're not normally used to, but it's okay. You don't have to do it 3 or 4 hours a day. Do it for 15 minutes. Just commit to 10 to 15 minutes a day. Don't think that you have to do this for the rest of your life. Your life will still be hard. I'm gonna tell you that. But right now, 24 hours, 10 to 15 minutes of the hard things. And then slowly you'll get stronger and then you'll start doing it for 1 or 2 hours, right? It's the same thing as going to the gym. The first 5 minutes suck, but then after that, it's like, oh, okay, it's okay. So just keep that in mind, all right?